Race 3, Round 6, the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship comes to you from the fabulous Red Bull Ring here in Austria. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are watching our live coverage all around the world. This is arguably the most picturesque, the most sensational, certainly in terms of facilities, a racetrack in the world. This is the Red Bull Ring just outside the town of Spielberg. There is the old, would you believe, Zeltweg Formula One circuit, which is now just an airfield at the bottom of the valley here in the Austrian countryside. 4 Formula One Grand Prix races in the past 12 months, and it's a familiar stop-off point, a popular favourite for Euroformula. This is race 3, the final race of what has been a brilliant weekend of racing. The cars exit pit lane. Jack Crawford will start from pole position, third in the championship. We'll go through the grid for you in its entirety in just a moment. Fortunately, the forecast rain has not eventuated. The cars bolt on the Michelin slicks, and we expect a dry 21-lap race here this afternoon. Jack Crawford took race 1 yesterday. Nazim Adsman became the 7th different winner in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. The Malaysian, who taken 4 victories in the British Formula 3 Championship in the past 2 seasons, finally broke through for the biggest weekend of his, or the biggest victory of his career, multiple podiums. And he stood on the top step earlier this morning. Here is the Malaysian, Nazim Adsman. He'll start on the outside of the second row of the grid in just a few moments' time. A brilliant race. He led home Jembolik Basi in P2 car 74. Enzo Trulli, his race 2 only lasted a few metres. The Carlin Racing entries make their way out of pit lane. Enzo Trulli, first year in car racing, and Brad Benavides, one of 4 Americans in the field, go up the back straight now. Enzo Trulli was out at turn 3 on lap 1. Brad Benavides had a good race, going wheel to wheel with Casper Stevenson. As the Carlin Racing team, who took a victory in 2020, remember, when Ben Barnicoat had that fabulous win at Mugello in a one-off drive to put Carlin Racing back on the top step. With the 2 young drivers, Enzo Trulli and Brad Benavides, here this afternoon. Of course, Enzo Trulli starting his car racing career this year. He first ever drove a racing car 12 months ago. He is the reigning United Arab Emirates Formula 4 champion, having taken that title with Creme Motorsport back in January. Enzo Trulli will start grid 14 by courtesy of not setting a lap in race 2. We're going on the fastest laps recorded in race 2. That sets the grid. So Jack Crawford to the right of your screen. The Red Bull Junior at the Red Bull Ring under the Red Bull drink. The sign of the drink, I should say. You know what I mean. The most beautiful circuit built by the world's most famous energy drink. The original track built back in 1970, replacing the original Zeltweg airfield, which hosted the Austrian Grand Prix back in 1963, the original the first non-championship race won by the late Sir Jack Brabham. Before the original Österreich ring was built. That's Zdeněk Chovanec, car 66 for RR Racing. He starts out of grid 12. This is Brad Benavides. Started the series racing, well, let's just say another championship. He's back with us in Euroformula Open and absolutely loving it. This is an open spec category. We are racing the single spec Dallara EF320 car, but multiple engines are available. The Mercedes-based HWA and the Opel-based Spice engine. Jack Crawford on pole position for Team Motor Park. He is in fact powered by the Opel-based Spice engine. The driver to beat here this weekend. Once again, he took 2 victories at Imola. He came home 5th this morning. Didn't have the pace so much, but a victory yesterday. Starts alongside the fast-starting Richard de Geris. The 2 drivers on the front row of the grid joining us from the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Richard, a brilliant start yesterday. It was too good. He was given a 5-second penalty. He starts out of grid 2. This was the championship leader. This is Cameron Dass, who is now 2 points behind Louis Foster in the 7th last race of 2021. This morning's race winner, the 20-year-old from Malaysia, Natsim Atsman, for Team Crypto Tower Racing, the reigning team's champion last year with Hifei. The new championship leader, Louis Foster, also for Crypto Tower Racing, 257 points, has overtaken Cameron Das in the championship standings. Louis starts out at grid 5, alongside the Mexican Rafa Villagomez for Van Amersfoort Racing. His teammate, Chembolok Bashi, who raced home to second place this morning. A win at the Hungaroring and 3 podiums since. This is Chembolok Bashi with half of the nation of Turkey cheering him on. The Formula One esports champion. Super on the simulator is Chembolok Bashi. I don't mean the PlayStation, I mean the real legitimate racing simulator. Casper Stevenson, a good drive this morning to finish in P7 for the Londoner. Also for Van Amersfoort Racing, so the VAR car 6, 7, 8 on the grid. This is Josh Mason. Another Brit, car 29 for Double R Racing. He starts out of grid 9. Car 21 out of grid 9, I should say, and Brad Benavides. 71 for Carlin Racing. Enzo Shanti, the second Texan, the 4th American in the field. And Zdenek Shovanek for Double R Racing. Philip Caminias, car 88, is the pole out of grid 13. And he starts alongside Enzo Trulli, who only raced 500 metres this morning before contact saw the Italian out. This is the reigning Formula 4 champion of the United Arab Emirates, his first ever time sitting in a race car that is, just 12 months ago. The young Italian, his father, of course, Jarno Trulli, winner of the 2004 Monaco Formula 1 Grand Prix here at the circuit, coaching his young son. As we take a look at the highlights of this morning's debut race victory for Natsim Atsman. First, we'll go back to race 1 yesterday. Jack Crawford started from pole position and simply disappeared down the road. Zdenek Shovanek with a nice move to go by on Philip Caminias. Josh Mason, a wild moment in the early stages of the race. Caminias turned around early on in the race, would recover to see the checkered flag, but JC saw it first. Crawford on top, the American wins on September 11. This morning, Natsim Atsman, the Malaysian, started from pole position. A disastrous start for Enzo Trulli, who finished at the top of the hill after less than half a lap. At the restart, Chembolok Bashi all over the back of Atsman, who withstood the pressure. And the Turk could not go by. Crawford did not have the speed as Cameron Das went wheel to wheel with his countryman Louis Foster going by, taking third place, and with that the championship lead, Bolok Bashi P2, and Natsim Atsman, the 7th different winner of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Round 6, race 3. Welcome to the home of the Austrian Grand Prix. Jack Crawford starts from pole position alongside Richard de Geris. Cameron Das loses the championship lead. He's out of grid 3 alongside this morning's race winner, Natsim Atsman. The Malaysian out of 4. Louis Foster is the new championship leader out of 5. The Crypto Tower Racing, then comes the VAR cars. Rafa Villagomez, Chembolok Bashi and Casper Stevenson. Grid 9 is another Brit. It's Josh Mason for Double R Racing, the American Brad Benavides, then Enzo Shanti for Team DriveX. Zdenek Shovanek out of grid 12. Then we go to Philip Caminias and Enzo Trulli with it all to do from the back of the grid after not setting a time in race 2 this morning. Crawford to the right of your screen, Richard de Geris to the left. The green flag, and we set off on the formation lap. Under slightly threatening skies, but we are expecting to race 21 laps on a dry circuit. We'd like to take this opportunity to wish all the best to Miguel Angel del Castro, the team owner of Team DriveX. They're here this weekend with just Enzo Scianti, the team founded by Miguel and Pedro de la Rosa. They've been with us in Euroformula Open way back since 2009. An accident in the week sees Miguel not here at the circuit. Miguel, hasta pronto. Enzo Scianti, the Texan, the sole entrant for Team DriveX. There he is in the background in car 35 out of grid 11. So Richard de Geris comes over from Team Charoux's racing system in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. He knows the circuit, as does Jack, mainly because he's raced here multiple times in Italian Formula 4 and also the German Formula 4 Championship in 2020, in which the American finished in second place, Nazim Atzman. Now a race winner in Euroformula Open, the Malaysian, will start out at grid 4 for Crypto Tower Team Racing. They are the reigning team's champion, having taken the title with Hifeyer in 2020. There is the standings at the bottom of your screen. Foster, Das and Jack, 257 to 255, and Crawford closing in on the back of both Cameron and Louis. Foster is car 27 for Crypto Tower Racing. There is Rafa, car 8. Villa Gomez, the Mexican, the VAR cars all grouped together. They had a disastrous moment at Imola when all three went off at Rivazza 2 coming onto the straight. We saw VAR cars 1, 2, 3 into the gravel. We're hoping for better for Fritz van Amersfoort's team here this afternoon. Jack Crawford, the Red Bull Junior at the Red Bull Ring on pole position. Nazim Atzman out of grid 4. Welcome to the home of the Austrian Grand Prix, Euroformula Open Race 3. For the final time this weekend, we race. Richard de Geris, after super starts in races 1 and 2, goes nowhere. The Frenchman stalls as Crawford disappears down into turn 1. Fantastic start by Nazim Atzman. The Malaysian, who won race 2 earlier this morning, slots into second place. Cameron Das on the outside, they go wheel to wheel at over 230 k's an hour as they race up the hill for the first time. Crawford is gone. Atzman under attack from Cameron Das, who tries the outside. Louis Foster, the new championship leader, pushes the Malaysian off the road virtually. He does not lift, does not flinch, and incredibly, he still holds second place. They're 2 wide, they're 3 wide. Here come the 4 wide cars. On the opening lap of the race, Nazim Atzman on the outside of Cameron Das. There are the VAR cars, Louis Foster. They were almost 4 wide as the Van Amersfoort racing cars tried to get themselves into a podium position. Crawford is gone. Atzman under attack from Cameron Das. Then we go to Louis Foster, Rafa Villa Gomez, Casper Stevenson, Chambol Bashi. A move down the inside from Philip Caminias. Trying to make his way by Enzo Trulli from the back of the grid. He's already made up 2. There's Enzo Scianti in position 14. Crawford is gone. Texans top and tail the field as the Van Amersfoort racing drivers go through. There's Rafa Villa Gomez, Casper Stevenson running wide, and Chembolic Bashi finished second in race 2 this morning, just behind Josh Mason as well in car 21 for RR Racing. Richard de Geris, who stalled off the line, trying desperately to recover. A huge moment for Chembolic Bashi, who runs off the road. An incredible start from Jack Crawford, aided by the fact that Richard de Geris stalled.
Yeah, and Cameron Das is about to attack Nazim Atzman. Thought about going around turn 2, then tried the outside of turn 3. He is running in third place. Louis Foster in 4th. Richard de Geris has just reclaimed a place on Brad Benavides for 9th. And we've got the Van Amersfoort cars queuing up, exiting turn 3. Bollock Bassi's been very messy, but he is still attacking the rear of Casper Stevenson because he was passed at turn 3 now. So we now got Cameron Das actually went round the outside of Nazim Atzman. The Van Amersfoort cars alongside each other, and now Richard de Geris is going to get involved 3 wide with Josh Mason on the inside, 3 into 1. Doesn't normally go ahead with contact front wing to the left rear of his car. That's going to be a bit messy, and it looks like de Geris has slowed with a puncture on the rear left, and that is not a great end to his race.
A disaster for the Frenchman. He stalled off the line. He was carving his way back through the field. but he'll limp back to pit lane, and that's effectively the end of the Frenchman's race. He'll be praying for a safety car. Jack Crawford won't, because he's 1.9 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. So Crawford leads from Das. The Americans go 1-2. And it's Nazi Martzman with a new championship leader, Louis Foster, breathing down his neck. Rafa Villagomez, fantastic drive in position 5 from the Mexican. We go back to Casper Stevenson in position 6. Chembolok Bashi, Josh Mason. We have to watch the Brit to see if there's damage to car 21. As Rached DeGeris comes into pit lane, Team Motor Park ready to go to work. A new front wing going on the Frenchman's car. Hopefully there's not damage to the suspension. So Jack Crawford 1.9 seconds ahead of his countryman. Crawford is gone. Das, then it's Atzman under attack from Louis Foster. A great drive from Rafa Villagomez. Has a look down the inside, does Foster. Atzman took about 3 or 4 laps this morning to finally find some rhythm, and when he did, he withstood the challenge from Chembolok Bashi for the entirety of the race. Rached DeGeris, he'll be praying for a safety car, otherwise his race is effectively over. He rejoins from pit lane in last position. Foster going through in P4, the new championship leader, although Das up in the P2, that may well change. It will change by the end of the race once again. VAR cars going through. Villagomez, Stevenson, Bolobashi, 5, 6 and 7.
Yep, and Cameron Das getting back ahead of Louis Foster will earn him 18 points at present. Louis Foster would earn 12 points. That's a 6-point margin, therefore it would swing back around. Das would end this weekend ahead in the title race, but Louis Foster is chasing Nazem Azman. If he overtakes him, he will earn additional 3 points, and then again it will change possibly for a second time. So Cameron Das is chasing Jack Crawford, 2.4 seconds. Crawford did set the fastest lap last time by. He doesn't have the benefit of the slipstream, which Das did on the previous lap. And Louis Foster has right now as he gets right onto the rear of Nazem Azman going at turn 3. Here's a replay at the start.
Rached DeGeris from on the left of your screen from the front row. The grid goes nowhere. Nicely done by Enzo Trulli to avoid him. DeGeris, to be fair, got going quite quickly. Crawford, a great start. He was gone as Nazem Azman moved up into second place. Philip Caminias running wide, rejoining ahead of Enzo Trulli. Another look at it from the start. Quickly grabs the starter. Lucky to be avoided by the rest of the pack. Not the best start either. It looks as though Enzo Shanti stalled as well. Shanti in 13th place. And then this, they were three-way. Josh Mason, Richard DeGeris, and immediately a puncher. These Michelin tyres are good, but they won't withstand a cut from a carbon wing. He just sliced through, and immediately the Frenchman had to bid. So it is Crawford, Das, Nazi Matzman under pressure from Louis Foster. Gets the run down into turn 1. We'll try and get the slipstream as they race up the hill. Violently over the ripple strip. You can see Louis Foster fighting the wheel behind him. Rafa Villagomez. The Van Amersfoort Racing cars in 5, 6 and 7. As the race now starts to settle down into a rhythm, a good start from the Carlin Racing entries. Brad Benavides, Enzo Trulli, 9 and 10. Behind Josh Mason and the VAR cars. Look at this. That is violent. At the outside of the Niki Lauda turn 1, Nazem Azman in the middle of the circuit being hounded by Louis Foster in P4. If he goes by the Malaysian who did win race 2 this morning, he'll be wheel to wheel with his main contender for the 2021 Euroformula Open title. Cameron Das, the American, sits in P2, 2.3 seconds behind Crawford.
Yeah, and Cameron Das did set the fastest lap last time by a 1:23.9. Jack Crawford at 1:24.0. Still 2.4 seconds between them though. That's quite a margin, even over a 21-lap race, because if they're only gaining a tenth at a time, it's going to be a while to close that up. And Louis Foster is simply just losing time behind Nazem Azman right now, although they're fairly evenly matched. Just battling is meaning they're not taking the optimum lines. You can see the gap between our first place car, Jack Crawford, the Red Bull livery car at front, Cameron Das, who was about to go through turn 1, and then the battle for third between these two cars, Nazem Azman and Louis Foster. And Rafael Villagomez is looking behind. Villagomez all weekend has been under a bit of pressure with track limits violation, so he wants to avoid that this time by. Already had a warning flag for Zdeněk Chovanec, another driver who has just been straying beyond the limits a little too much through these races. But as race 3, it's the last chance of the weekend to pick up a good result, so they're going to be pushing as much as they can.
Fastest sector last time round for Cameron Das. The gap 2.5 seconds between the two Americans. Louis Foster gets the toe from Nazim Atzman, who checks his left side mirror to see the championship leader right behind him. Foster sweeps to the outside. Atzman puts the 18 Crypto Tower racing car in the middle of the circuit as they race down the hill. Rafa Villagomez driving superbly. He's actually catching up to this battle. Foster down the inside. Atzman does not flinch. He will not be intimidated. After winning race 2 this morning, he became the 7th different victor in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. There's Villagomez. There's Stevenson behind. The Londoner in car 25 in P6. Zdeněk Chovanec sideways on the exit. He knew he made a slight mistake there because he immediately checked his rear mirror to see where Enzo Scianti and Philip Caminias were. And in fact, Enzo Scianti, nicely done. The second Texan drives by and takes the place. He's now one spot outside the top 10 is Enzo Scianti.
All of these battles are getting very close. There's actually a margin of less than a second between every driver from 3rd down to 10th. Brad Benavides. Louis Foster, one of the closest at the moment. He's chasing Nazim Atzman in 3rd place. He's lining up turn 3. He's going to pick the outside line and likely dive down the inside because there's a locked brake for Nazim Atzman, and that meant he had to sweep and cut underneath him to avoid contact. But he's got the slipstream again going downhill on the run to turn 4. They are losing time to the two cars in front. Jack Crawford set the fastest lap last time by. Louis Foster is going to go for the outside line. He's already alongside. They avoid touching wheels, but Atzman brakes later. But he goes too deep into the corner. Foster tucks down the inside and actually runs over the curbs, does Atzman. So he's lost even more ground. Foster up into 3rd place. So now he's scoring 3 points less than his main title rival, Cameron Das, at the moment. Das would still end this race as title leader.
Brilliant inside because Atzman went in too deep, and Louis Foster takes the place. Next in line for the championship leader. Winter is coming for the two Americans. We go back to Nazim Atzman. The big beneficiary out of that was Rafa Villagomez. There is the Mexican behind the Malaysian, his teammates plural. Casper Stevenson, Chembolok Bashi, Mason, Truly, Benavides. There is Brad, the Florida-born American. First time out for Carlin Racing. He'll be with us for the final 3 rounds of the championship here at the Red Bull Ring. 2 weeks' time at Monza. And the championship final at Barcelona at the end of October. So Cameron Das would retake the championship lead. You can see the graphic to the bottom right of your screen by 1 single point. Still more than half the race, 3/4 of the race remaining here. As Josh Mason is being pressured by Enzo Trulli. We'll watch the young Englishman fend off the 16-year-old Italian, Enzo Trulli, who started from the back of the grid. Josh Mason, car 21 for Double R Racing. We spoke about the formation of that team by Steve Robinson and Kimi Räikkönen. Let's give some credit to the team owner, Anthony Hyatt, who does a fantastic job running the Double R cars. Josh Mason just ahead of Enzo Trulli. He's got some speed. He started out of grid 3 at race 3 in Imola, only to have the air filter, or the airbox intake, work loose on the opening stages of the race when he was in contention for a podium. Tries to get the toe from Josh Mason. The Van Amersfoort racing cars go by 5, 6 and 7. Villagomez, Stevenson and Chembolok Bashi. There's Mason. There's Enzo Trulli, who's dropped off his teammate Brad Benavides ever so slightly. He's ahead of another American, Enzo Scianti, as Foster drives away from Nazim Atzman. They race up the hill. They sound fantastic. They look superb. The Dallara EF320 F3 spec cars racing in the Euroformula Open Championship. This is the 2nd year for the most beautiful F3 spec car out of the FIA F3 Championship.
We've got a queue of 7.
Outside of, I should say.
Yeah, queue of 7 cars at the moment in frame. Brad Benavides, Enzo Trulli at the back, Josh Mason, the 3 VARs, Nazim Atzman and Louis Foster at the front there. So the slipstream effect between that very long straight of turns 3 to turns 4, it's huge. The driver at the back, Enzo Trulli, must be gaining at least half a second a lap, or at least in that section of the lap, compared to the person at the very front, which is Louis Foster. But Foster is pulling away. He was 3/10 faster than Nazim Atzman on the last lap, set his personal best. So clearly getting ahead of Atzman has enabled him to get more pace out of the car. Jack Crawford, though, way clear, 2.95 seconds. Here is a replay of our leader, Crawford. Then the car slipped a little wide through turn 1, not too much, because obviously you get warnings if you exceed track limits. That does show you the looseness of the motor park setup, where they allow the rear end of the car to rotate more, because then it gets you around the corners quicker, and therefore you can get back on the throttle and moving very quickly.
Jack Crawford has won 5 times in the 2021 championship. Made his debut in race 3 at the season opener, which was in support of the Portuguese Formula 1 Grand Prix. That weekend, Cameron Dass dominated, taking 3 victories in a row as Fritz van Amersfoort watches on from pit lane. His car's off the podium at the moment. So many great drivers have passed through the hands of Fritz. Most recently, Charles. Max also raced for Van Amersfoort Racing, and his father, Jos.
And the Van Amersfoort Racing team actually recently tested the all-electric ERA single-seater at Zolder, which is the very first single-seater team to do so. And hopefully that car will be racing next year, potentially in California at first and then over in Europe. So exciting to see electric single-seaters finally getting off the ground at the junior level, which we've been wanting for many years since Formula E came on the scene. It's great to see that. Of course, the Dallara 320, a great chassis which has kind of set the template for other new cars to come in as well, including the lightweight halo design and the side-mounted air intake, which for this car serves a pure design purpose, but in other cars it's being seen in design specs as purely kind of like an aesthetic thing. They want to return it to this look because it's so iconic within racing circles.
Forgive me if I don't say anything on that subject, with all due respect. I know it's a controversial issue. Let's just say these EF Dallara 320 cars, they sound fantastic. It was testing at Zolder, happened to be at Zolder recently. There was talk about it. Let's just concentrate on what's on screen at the moment. As Zdeněk Chauvenet goes wheel to wheel with Philo Cominias, and the pole goes by and takes the place. Enzo Scianti ahead of this battle, driving nicely. They both run off the road. Zdeněk Chauvenet loses the front wing. The car becomes undrivable. And the Portuguese driver, will he limp back to pit lane? Damage to the front right as well, as Enzo Trulli goes wheel to wheel with Josh Mason inside the top 10. And Enzo's gone by. On the charge is the young Italian. He's up into P8. Zdeněk Chauvenet limps into pit lane. Car 66 RR Racing are waiting for him. Dust flying from that incident just a few moments ago. There is Josh Mason coming through. Enzo Trulli from the back of the grid, now up into P8, next in line. Not 1, not 2, but 3 cars from Van Amersfoort Racing. RR Racing have a quick look at the front of the car. The wing is damaged, and it looks as though it's game over for car 66. Really disappointing weekend for Zdeněk Chauvenet.
Enzo Trulli right now will be on course for 6 points because he's going to score 4th, 8th place, but you also get 2 points for being the driver with the most positions gained from your starting spot. He has risen up 6 places, so that is 2 points he could add, and his father's very happy with that. He's cheering at the move as he moves up into 8th place. We're following him now. Number 15, Carlin. Carlin has 2 cars this weekend. Hopefully we're going to see a 3rd car as there's Van Amersfoort drivers battling each other. That is the number 8 of Rafael Villagomez and Casper Stevenson. Stevenson makes the pass for 5th place, but that wasn't strictly on the track per se as they went through turn 3, so I'm not sure that will count. He's looking at his mirrors. Might he let his teammate back by? Is he going to defend into turn 4? He actually pushes to the outside line. They make a little bit of side-by-side contact. A love and lock break by Villagomez. He goes off into the gravel. He's running all the way looking for the asphalt escape road that takes you a very long way around, but he's not only lost a spot to Ciambollic Bassi, but to Enzo Trulli, Josh Mason, Brad Benavides, and probably Enzo Scianti now as well.
Casper Stevenson, an aggressive move by the Londoner. Watch this as they race up the circuit. Speed from behind Natsim Atzman, who is still doing a good lead. He gets the toe to Natsim Atzman, who will miss the podium. And Formula 5. That's what we want to see from Casper Stevenson, the quietly spoken Londoner who started the season racing in the Asian Formula 3 Championship over in the Gulf, as Enzo gets the toe from Ciambollic Bassi down into the rash curve. Follows Ciambollic Bassi down the hill. Mason in the background, starting to catch up to the first of the Carlin Racing entries. He's got a Carlin car ahead and a Carlin car behind. Brad Benavides, Drivex here this weekend. Here is Enzo. His father, Jano, watching on from pit lane. As Lucio Cavuto with with our camera work, as good as it is, how deep? It is going up into turn 3. There is Riano. Animated is the normally quietly spoken Italian. Up turning point. But the car of Bologbashi is working nicely as well. So Enzo truly has got by Josh May in 13th place, and Stenak Shermanak from grid 14, truly up into P7. Fabulous drive into P5 for Casper Stevenson. Got good speed. Does the Londoner here this afternoon. It's 0.0. You can see on your screen. HWA Mercedes-based power for Bologbashi, and behind the Opel-based space power for Enzo Trulli. He's so close to the back of the Turk. Watch it up into turn 3. Down the inside, Enzo Trulli from the back of the grid goes through and takes Bologbashi. Fantastic pass by the young Italian. Carlin Racing now split the Van Amersfoort Racing entries, so Bologbashi tries to fight back. They go side by side down the back straight. Enzo Trulli puts car 15 in the middle of the circuit. He's now up into position 6. Brilliant drive from Enzo. Next in line is Casper Stevenson. He's got almost a full second over the 15 Carlin Racing entry. Bologbashi has lost the spot, and this is why up the hill. Enzo Trulli just put it in the middle of the circuit, broke very, very late. Put the 15 car in the middle of the track, and Bologbashi had to give him racing room. Yano applauds that once again. There's Lucio to the right. Fantastic drive from the back of the grid. That's better from Enzo Trulli. Last year he was a professional kart racer, 14 Kart Republic. He first drove a racing car of any sort, not even 12 months ago. The UAE F4 champion, he won that in the final race for Cram Motorsport. Was going to race Spanish F4 this year. Well, his father Yano went from international karting to German Formula 3 straight away. So they thought, well, why? We've already won the UAE F4 series, straight up to the brilliant Euroformula Open Championship. And he's got the talent from grid 14. He's in P6.
Jack Crawford, who are currently following in the lead, is still pushing. You can see he locked up both of the rear wheels there coming into turn 4. He's now 3.8 seconds clear. His gap did extend to 4 seconds a few laps ago, so he's lost 3/10 to Cameron Dass last time round. And provisionally, he's 28 points behind. It would be 27 points if he sets fastest lap, I believe. So he is certainly in this title battle. It's a three-way fight between 2 Americans and a Brit. It's going to go all the way to the end of the season, I expect. But Crawford isn't confirmed for the next round. So he's got to try push as hard as he can. 24.0 for Crawford as he completes the lap. Cameron Dass at 1 minute 24.3. So Crawford has immediately made up that time. He lost to Dass last time around.
He's still in position 5 for the moment. Although with 4 laps still remaining, it's not out of the question that Enzo could take Casper as well. If I'm not mistaken, Helmut Marko, who runs the Red Bull Young Driver Program, he is from Austria.
Yes.
We are in Austria.
We are.
Jack is a Red Bull Junior. This is the Red Bull Ring. He's done everything expected of him.
Yeah, and I actually believe when he did his first Red Bull assessment, they took him either in a Formula Renault 2.0 car or something fairly similar downforce-wise. He did 2 days here, top secret, and then that was what basically convinced Helmut Marko to tick the box and sign him. And that's how he ended up in Italian F4, and it was at this very circuit where he absolutely stunned everyone, which I think was around the outside of this corner we're looking at now, turn 4 on Johnny Edgar, as they fought for victory in race 2 here, which I think was the September date. It was this weekend last year, so exactly 12 months on, 365 days on. Crawford's repeating the kind of action he showed us all last year in Formula 4, and he's adapted to this car very well. Also racing in FIA Formula 3, very different chassis philosophy, so he's got to adapt between each weekend. He was actually doing F3 last weekend and the weekend before, so he's had a lot of toing and froing, but somehow he's always coming out on top once he's here. He hasn't been beaten in qualifying once this year when he's been in Euroformula. I think it's been 4 poles out of 4.
Jack has already won 5 times this year. His gap is now 4.6 seconds. Back to Cameron Dass. Enzo Trulli, this has been brilliant. Casper Stevenson, P5. Trulli's breathing down his neck in the dying stages of race 3, round 6, the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Ian Silvestrin with you in commentary along with Ida Wood, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Monza for the penultimate round of the championship, the home track the home race for Enzo Trulli, and then the season final on the 23rd of October at the home of the Catalan, the Spanish F1 Grand Prix for the season final. Enzo Trulli gets the tow from Casper Stevenson as they race down the hill into the Roush turn 5. Still time for Trulli. So close to the back of the Englishman. Casper Stevenson, he is the top. Racing car. The now animated Enzo Trulli. Can he take P5 from the back of the grid? Casper Stevenson, let's give him credit. He's driven extremely well here this afternoon. The top runner for Van Amersfoort Racing. Trulli's lining him up. He's got 2 laps to do it as they come through the Jochen curves on the ragged edge, on the absolute limit. You can see the bottom of the car bottoming out over the curve. Jack Crawford. 4.6 seconds now ahead of Cameron Dass, who will take the championship lead into the season final at Monza in 2 weeks' time. Casper Stevenson, 25. Enzo Trulli, 15. Casper tries to break the tow from Enzo behind. They race up the hill for the second last time. He's in the marbles. He'll be vulnerable. Enzo knows it. He'll get a good run down the back straight. He'll get the tow. Watch them down into turn 5. Crawford is gone, on his way to the 6th victory of the season. Trulli gets the tow and Casper knows it. Checks the mirrors. The Italian just follows him. Will he put it down the inside? Too far back. Nicely defended from Casper Stevenson. Cem Bolak-Bashi too far back to capitalise at the moment. He's in P7 ahead of Josh Mason, Brad Benavides. Nice drive in P9 and Enzo Shanti rounds out the 10. The final lap of the race for Jack Crawford. He has just flashed across the line and now climbs the hill for the final time. A class act on his way to victory. The Red Bull Junior here at the Red Bull Ring, the Texan, has been faultless all weekend. Victory in race 1 yesterday. Started grid 6, made up some places. He's closing in on both Dass and Foster in the championship chase. In position 3 in the championship, and he will close the gap on both Foster, and it looks as though Dass will retake the championship lead into Monza in 2 weeks' time. The gap is 4.6 seconds from Jack back to Cameron. Enzo Trulli still cannot find a way by Casper Stevenson, who is defending for his life position 5. He runs down the hill for the final time. This time they go wheel to wheel on the final lap of the race. Enzo runs off the track. Bolak-Bashi does capitalise. Trulli loses the front wing. It's all come to naught for the Italian. Now the 2 VAR teammates go wheel to wheel on the final few corners of the race. Out front, Jetpack Jack Crawford, Texas Ranger, the Red Bull Junior, wins at the Red Bull Ring. His 6th victory in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Cameron Dass retakes the championship lead with 2nd place. 3rd is Louis Foster. Nazim Atzman, a brilliant weekend for the Malaysian. A win this morning and P4 this afternoon. Coming across the line in position 5. It's a fine drive for Casper Stevenson. Head of Cem Bolak-Bashi. What an unfortunate end for Enzo Trulli. He will most likely be passed by Enzo Shanti as well, so Shanti capitalises. Heartbreak for the Italian. From the back of the grid, he crosses the line in position 10. What a finish to race 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. Jack dominates again. This was on the final lap of the race. Casper Stevenson going in on the inside, locks the front right and simply runs out of road. Enzo Trulli in the gravel and from there launches over his own lost front wing. And he limps to the line in 10th place. Mason goes by, Brad Benavides goes by. He finishes in P8. And again, the VAR cars, not for the first time this weekend, make contact. So Casper P5, Cem in P6, and heartbreak for the Carlin Racing team. Meters from the checkered flag. day after September 11, the Americans dominate, going 1-2. Crawford from Das and Foster in third. A great weekend for Natsim Atzman, P1 this morning and P4 this afternoon. A fine drive to P5 for Casper. Then it's Chembolik Bashi, Josh Mason, Brad Benavides, Enzo Shanti, and Enzo Trulli limps home in 10. Philip Caminias, Rafa Villagomez down in 12th after a promising start to the race. And after having to pit for a puncher earlier, Rashad DeGeris, the final finisher, Zdenek Chovanec, a DNF. 2.73 versus 2.72. Cameron retakes the championship lead into Monza in 2 weeks' time. There's Louis Foster, 272 points in the Euroformula Open Championship. 273 for Cameron. Jack, he's back. He closes the gap on both of them. As we preempt the Star-Spangled Banner here at the Red Bull Ring.
Good details that time. There you go. That's the details. Good job, man.
Congratulated by the team. His father Tim to the left. We'll get a word with Jack as soon as he gets off the helmet.
Good job.
Just 1 point separate Foster and Das. It will be a nail-biting finish to the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. The reigning champion Yifa for Crypto Tower Racing in 2020. Surely it will be decided at the final round, probably even the final race at Barcelona. Louis Foster, P3 here this afternoon, and 272 points in the Euroformula Open Championship. Cameron Das comes home position 2, and after losing the championship lead in race 2 this morning, retakes it. He's on 273 points going into Monza in a fortnight's time, and the 6th victory of the season for Jetpack Jack from Houston, Texas, USA. This is the race winner down in pit lane now.
Jack Crawford, second win at the Red Bull Ring. How was it?
Yeah, it was a fun race. I had a good start. They were battling behind me, so I got a quite comfortable lead. And yeah, after that, it was just managing the gap. I was trying to be consistent as possible, no mistakes, and yeah, I'd say quite an easy one. Even though it looked like Cam had some pace, so yeah. Happy with the win and the points as well. So
A good weekend in terms of points harvest. Can you still make it? That's the question.
yeah, was a good weekend for points for sure. The second race didn't go as planned. Wish we had a little bit more points there, but yeah, otherwise good weekend. It looks like I'm gonna miss Monza due to conflicts. So I think the championship is a bit out of reach unless something crazy happens, but you know, gonna come to Barcelona and, you know, do my best and hope for the best. So
Well, we'll see. For the time being, enjoy.
yeah.
Race 3 here at the Red Bull Ring. From pole position, Jack Crawford, a perfect start. The same could not be said for Rashid DeGeris, who stalled from the outside of the front row of the grid. A super start from the race 2 winner, the Malaysian Natsim Atzman, up into second place. As Philip Caminias ran off the circuit at the opening corner, the Van Amersfoort racing cars, they went wheel to wheel. They were 3 wide, Josh Mason getting involved in as well. And that cost Rashid DeGeris a puncher. And the Frenchman had to pit for a new front wing and a new left rear Michelin. Natsim Atzman went wheel to wheel with Louis Foster, who slipped down the inside. Nicely done by Foster. Zdenek Chovanec running off the track. Further back in the pack, he lost the front wing and would retire with damage to the 66 RR racing car. This was the moment of the race when Rafa Villagomez and Casper Stevenson went wheel to wheel 10 metres off the circuit. Villagomez simply ran out of road into the gravel, and that cost the Mexican, who limped to the line in position 12. From the back of the grid, a brilliant drive from Enzo Trulli. He picked them off one by one until the very last lap. He tried to take P5 away from Casper Stevenson. The Brit locked the brake. Enzo Trulli ran out of road, ran over his front wing, and the Italian limped home in P10. Jack Crawford with his 6th victory of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. The Red Bull Junior wins here at the Red Bull Ring. Round 6, race 3 of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. So the Englishman, Louis Foster in P3. Cameron retakes the championship lead. And the 6th victory of the season for Jack Crawford. A day after September 11, the Americans finish 1-2 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. A huge congratulations to Jack Crawford, Cameron Dass and Louis Foster as we salute our friends, our fans watching on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean in the United States of America. Thanks for your company. The Red Bull Ring has hosted a brilliant round 6 of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. We'll see you at Monza in 2 weeks' time for the penultimate round of the 2021 Championship. See you at Monza.
Still saving them.